Hey y'all, how y'all doing today? Welcome to the Tea Factory podcast. So I just wanted to come on here today and talk to y'all about Zohran Mamdani. I know I'm probably mispronouncing his last name. Um, um, Zohran Man Mamdani. I know I chopped that up again, but forgive me. Forgive me for chopping up his last name. I'm just gonna call him Zohran during this conversation, during this commentary. Um, y'all know. I mean, if you're familiar with my channel, y'all know I can't pronounce anything. I'm always mispronouncing stuff. I'm just as bad as Miss Wanda. If you know who that is, she's from the Love and Marriage Huntsville um, TV show. She can't pronounce anything, and neither can I. I can barely put. I'm always mispronouncing stuff. So forgive me, and I apologize for mispronouncing his name. So I wanted to give my commentary because I've just seen so much hate on social media since he won. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's why we live in a free country, the United States of America. That's why we love our country, and that's why um, I'm not gonna say that's why we live here, because some of us live here by choice, and some of us not by, you know, um, you know, um, the greatest country in the world. So, um, and what I meant by choice is some people just, they're born here. They didn't have a choice to either be here or not be here. But of course, this is the greatest country in the world. This is where you want to be, And so, um, I wanted to give my commentary. So let's start from the beginning. Well, a few housekeeping before I forget. So this is basically my commentary, my opinion. We all have our own opinions, and so hopefully you don't get offended. If you get offended, just drop down the chat. Let me know your opinions and your thoughts and how you feel. So before we get started, though, Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. There is an allowance for fair use of copyrighted material for such purposes as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. And that is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be teaching and learning and researching. So, let's get started. On October 23rd, 2024, which was last year. So it was last year that Zohran Mamdani announced his candidacy to run for the mayor of New York City. So he announced it last year. So, and that's crazy. A year later he wins. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? So his platform includes support for free city bus and rent phase and rent stabilization of rent and housing. And he calls himself a Democrat socialist. So um, he is of let me see. He's of Indian descent. His family is Indian. Um, his father is a Muslim Indian who was born in Bombay, India, and um, and was raised in Uganda. And then his mother. Oh, okay. So his father is a Muslim Indian who was born in Bombay, India, and he was raised in Uganda. So his father was raised in Uganda. And then his mother is Punjabi Hindu. She was born and raised in India. And then Zohan, he was born in Uganda. So his parents must have met in India or Uganda. It doesn't tell us where they met. But so his dad was was raised in Uganda, and then Zohran was born in Uganda. And for those of you who don't know where Uganda is, it's in Africa. So he's African. He's African. He was born in Africa, and he lived 2 years. He lived for 2 years in South Africa as a child, and then he was raised in New York City since the age of 7. So he was born in Uganda, which is in Africa. He lived there till he was 2 years old, and then they moved. And then, so he been living in the United States, in New York City since the age of 7. So he's not Middle Eastern, guys. He's not Middle Eastern. He's not Arab, but he's Indian. He's Muslim, and he was born. And he grew up in Africa. So he's everybody. He's everybody. He represents everybody. Okay, India, Africa, Muslims, everybody. Diversity, diversity. Okay, and um, so the thing about him is, so because he won, right? So there's all this hatred, all this bigotry from mainly white people, racist white people in MAGA. And the thing is this: the United States of America is a melting pot. Point blank, period. The United States of America is a melting pot. From day one, from day one, it's been a melting pot. Like, the United States of America does not belong to any group of people. It does not belong to white people. It does not belong to Mexicans, Indians, Italians, Scottish, uh, Dutch. It doesn't belong to no group of people. The truth of the matter is history. And I hate when people try to rewrite history. And I hate when people try to interpret history to fit their agenda. The reality is that the United States of America, when it was founded, there was already people here, first and foremost. Okay? We have Native Indians that you can find Native Indian names in every single state. A lot of the states, streets, so many things are named after Indian names. And just because the U.S. government over the years have pretty much destroyed the Indian people and the population, and they have become a minority in this country, that does not mean that they don't exist, number one, and that does not mean that they did not exist when this country was being developed. They were here first. So the true American is a Native American, Native Indian. That's the true American. Okay? If we want to be real about it, that's the true American. And then you have the Mayflower and people who came, and then who brought their, then we have when slavery was brought. So that's the history of America, and everybody knows that. The thing is, how do these old racist white people get amnesia? I just don't understand. Like, y'all know this shit. You guys were in the same class with us in history class when they were teaching this, and we learned all this together. But yet, in 2025, they want to act, oh, this is my country. This is my country. No immigrants can come here. No immigrants are allowed, or we don't want any immigrants to have any position of power or any political office. When back in the day, the Irish and the Scottish and the Italians were treated like crap because the other white people was looking down on them. You know what I mean? And then now, my, how we forget. You got, some of the most racist people right now in 2025 would be like some Irish people, some Scottish people, and some Italian, and they're some of the racist ones when their ancestors also experienced racism from the English and whoever else from back in the day. So it's like it's a cycle. This is the one part about humans that I don't like: the racism and bigotry, because we're not better than anybody. We are all created in the image of God. There's one God, and we're all created in His image. So there's one race. There's not the black race, the white race, the Indian race, the Mexican race. No, those are not races. Those are nationalities. We are one race. We all bleed the same blood. When you cut me or you cut somebody else or the next person, our blood is all the same color. It's red. We bleed the same. So we are all mankind. We are human beings. But in this country right now, so divided with the politics because you got that crazy man by the name of Donald Trump just spewing hate every single day and talking mad shit and talking crazy. So the country is so divided. Um, but to get back on track, so I'm saying all that to say that, so when he ran, it's okay to disagree with somebody. It's okay to be a Republican. It's okay to be a Democrat. It's okay to be progressive. It's okay to be conservative. But when you go so hard because you're not leading by policy or political issues that you agree on that you can disagree on that you could probably sit down and go across the aisle and have a conversation and come into a compromising or an agreement. But when you lead with hate, when your heart is full with hate and you come off with hatred towards somebody because of their religion or their nationality or their financial status, like the rich looking down on the poor people, then it's not even politics. Then it becomes just pure hatred and racism, you know, classism. That's what it becomes. So when he won, well he ran. Well, let's go back when he was running. So when he won the Democrat nomination, then you have Andrew Cuomo, coming into the race, running as an independent, and and right then and then y'all should have known. I would have see. I don't live in New York City, and I never would have voted for Andrew because beside all the bullshit that he did, all that other stuff, the sexual harassment, all that stuff. Besides all that, just the fact for him to switch from a Democrat to an independent to run against Zohan, I wouldn't even. That right there was shady because first of all, Cuomo, his whole freaking lifelong, he's a lifelong Democrat. Your whole entire life, you've been a Democrat. Now you're gonna switch up. That lets me know you're full of shit. You're not for the people, and then that lets me know the millionaires who was going who were backing him and putting money in his campaign. He was right there. It lets you know he was a bot man. They bought him because the thing is, he ran because he was convinced by his rich friends to run and that they were going to back him financially, which they did, and they didn't want Zohan to win. And so basically, he was just put in to fill the spot. This is like politics at the worst kind, for me, in my opinion. Andrew Cuomo at that moment when he was running, it was the epitome of the worst kind of politician can be, bought and sold, and just disgusting. That's what he was, and I'm so glad he lost. I'm so glad he lost because the thing is, I feel like politicians, you're supposed to work for the people and help the people. How do you make people's lives better? Your people have voted voted for you so you can make their day-to-day life better. And I feel like government is supposed to help people. In my opinion, it is supposed to help its people. There should not be this huge, humongous gap between the poor and the ultra. Okay, the ultra wealthy I can see because they're super wealthy. They're way up there. Okay, I get that. But at least the decency of a human being. They should not be. It should not be so hard to make a living. It shouldn't be so hard to have a roof over your head. Not in the United States of America. Not in this country. And this country was built by immigrants and slaves. That's what this country was built by. So, um, no one is asking for a handout. People want to work and feed their family, take care of their family. So, I, someone who's not in New York, support what Zohan was saying. and I hope that he is able to fulfill those promises. So he won the other night. So then when he won, of course, MAGA went crazy, and there was a lot of rich, wealthy billionaires that live in New York or don't even live in New York who were throwing money against people that were running against him, like Andrew Cuomo and that other crazy guy. So you had like Michael Bloomberg spending like $5 million to oppose him. You had the founder of Airbnb. You had the chairman of Estee Lauder Makeup. It's like actually like there's a list online of all the companies that were against him. I mean, low key, I feel like we all should boycott these companies because they were trying to do harm to the regular person because they did not want him to win. And let me finish this list first, and then I'll go back into what my thought. So then the Estee Lauder. Then you had the Steve Wynn, which is a casino owner out in Vegas. Then you had the chairman of Expedia. Then you had members of the Walmart and Sam's family. The one of the family member, I think she's one of the girls, one of the women. Forgot her name, but she's a Walton. The Walmart, the family that owns Walmart and Sam's, they threw money, and then um, you had this hedge fund guy, Ackman, Mr. Ackman. He paid $1.75 million to a political group that opposes Zohran. And then they said they had Donald Trump and Elon Musk endorse Andrew, but they said they can't confirm if Donald Trump and Elon Musk gave Andrew Cuomo any money. I think Elon did. I think I read somewhere that Elon did give money, but I don't think Donald Trump did. Donald Trump too stingy. He ain't doing all that. So he's too stingy with his money. These are people who are worth billions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars, who spent money to try to defeat Zohan, not only because of his religious beliefs. Okay, like they'll have you thinking that they were all against him because he's a Muslim. It's not just because he was a Muslim, it's because he's for the people and by the people. He's for the average person. And all these people are so freaking wealthy. Some of them have been born with wealth. They don't even know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. Like especially the Walmart lady. I know damn well she didn't because her father started Walmart, or was it her grandfather? But she's the Walton family. And then the rest of them, I don't know how long they've been wealthy. I'm sure some of them been wealthy their whole entire life. They've been born into money. So they have these rich people against him. It wasn't so much because he was a yes, A, because he was a Muslim. B, because they felt like he was going to be against Israel. So some of them are probably Israel lobbyists and pro-Israel. Well, one of the guys is actually. I mean, some of the people are because they were Jewish, and then also because some of them own real estate in New York, so they're against him freezing the rent and subsidizing. They're against all that because it's going to hurt their bottom pockets. So basically, they don't give a fuck about nobody but themselves and their pockets, and they're already worth billions. And when they die, they're not taking none of that money with them. Ain't now one of them that donated all that money against. I mean, that donated the money to groups that were going against Zohan, going to take a penny with them when they die. They're probably some of them are probably going straight to hell anyway. And but even whether they go to hell or heaven, I don't know. In my opinion, allegedly, God forbid I had to say that, but that's how I feel. Wherever they're going, they're not gonna be able to take a penny with them. Okay, so you're doing all that shit because out of hate. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Out of hate, it was out of hate, out of fear, and this man ain't did nothing to nobody. First of all, he grew up in the United States of America. Okay, he's not a jihadist. He's not a terrorist. He just happens to be an Indian man that is Muslim. He's different than you. Okay, he's different. That doesn't make him a monster. That doesn't make him somebody that is going to destroy New York City. But because he's a Democrat and a self-proclaimed socialist, you know, It's okay to oppose people. It's okay for you to be a Republican and a conservative. But after he's won, to paint him the way they're trying to paint him, some of them talking about, oh, I'm gonna leave New York City if he wins. Okay, he won now. What are you gonna do? You're gonna leave, and if you leave, so what? New York got millions of people. Ain't nobody gonna miss your ass. Go wherever you're gonna go. You're gonna go to the South, Florida, go wherever you want to go. It's still not gonna change nothing because guess what? The people who are hurting and suffering in New York City are still gonna be there. The wealthy people, they're gonna pack up and leave, and they act like somebody's gonna miss them. It doesn't matter because he's not for you anyway. He's for the average Joe, the person who is struggling to put food on the table, the person who's struggling to pay the rent, the person who's struggling to put clothes on their kids' back. That's who he's for. That's who he ran for, and that's who voted for him. So all this shit these wealthy people are talking about is just so annoying. And then what I hate is you have these dumb people who are po, po as hell, and ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw out of, voting against their best interest, voting for, um, for Como or that Republican guy when they're not doing anything or saying anything that's gonna help you. And I'm not saying that Zohan is the savior. I'm not saying he's manna from heaven, and I'm not saying that he's going to do everything that he said he's gonna do. And I hope he does. But there's hope in his delivery in what he's saying, and he seems believable. Where the other guys are bought and sold politicians who don't give a fuck about nowhere. Especially Cuomo, he was the governor of New York, and we don't want to talk about him and the COVID, what happened, and all them people that died under his watch when he was governor. Like I don't even want to get into that because that's like a whole different conversation. So it's like so people who vote against their best interests, most people, I'm not saying you have to vote Democrat, but people who always consistently vote Republican, and Republican Party right now is showing us that they don't give a fuck about nobody. They don't. We have right now people not getting their SNAP benefits. We have food prices is through the roof. When I go grocery shopping, and it's like when I'm trying to buy battery price, I was trying to buy a battery the other day. Battery was prices through the roof, groceries through the roof. Even if you go down to the liquor store to get you some Hennessy, that's through the roof because of tariff. Everything has gone up because of freaking tariff. And then the government shut down right now, and then you trying to have, um, I think today was somewhere I was reading that one of the courts had told Trump to open up. I mean, no, to give people the SNAP benefits, and he's saying no because that's money that could be used for something else. It wasn't for SNAP benefits, and he's like, I'm not tapping into that money to pay for SNAP because it's supposed to be for something else. I'm not gonna do that. Like what? You're the president of the United States of America. Trump, that's a whole different subject too. I don't even want to get into that. Heartless man, okay? He don't give a fuck about nobody. Okay? And politicians back in the day, it used to be that you had demeanor, you had respect, you treated, we can disagree all day long. We can disagree with our neighbors, we can disagree with our friends, we can disagree with the Democrat, we can disagree with the Republican, we can disagree about religion, we can disagree about everything. But it was debated in a respectful way. And then at the end, if we didn't come to an understanding, we agreed to disagree, and we went about our business. But now you have all this name calling. People can't even be diplomatic with each other, and especially the people who are politicians. So I want to go back to the story about Zohan too. So when he won, Van Jones, which is a black man commentator, he's on CNN. So he said that when Zohan gave his speech, he missed an opportunity. He said it was tone deaf. He said, I think Mamdani, when we saw him in the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, So I'm quoting what Van Jones said. He said Zohan was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing. He was not that was not present in that speech. So he's talking about the speech that Zohan gave on the night that he won the mayor of New York City. So Jones said that he think that it was a tone. His tone was sharp, and he think he was using a microphone in a way that was almost yelling. That was, he's saying he's yelling. Maybe it was the microphone, and he was, um, and it's not the man that we've seen on TikTok and in the great interviews that we've seen him in and stuff like that. And I think it was a little bit of a character switch here. So what he's saying is basically Zohan, when he won, he was talking a lot of shit. Might as well. That's what he's saying. He was talking a lot of shit because he was saying, Donald Trump, I know you're probably listening, and if you're listening, turn the volume up. Yeah, he was talking mad shit because he won. And and all these people was against him, and all these people are still against him. Even though Jewish people voted for him, black people voted for him, Jewish people voted for him, Asians voted for him, Hispanics, everybody. Like I said, we're all Americans, we're all human beings. So a lot of people voted for him. A lot of people in the Jewish community even voted for him, even though people like to say he's anti-Semite, just because he's a Muslim. Not because he did anything that was anti-Semite, not because he said anything that was like they have no proof. They're just saying, oh, he's a Muslim, just automatically. Not all Muslims are anti-Semite, and not all Muslims are bad people. I don't even want to get into that conversation. That's just so freaking stupid that we even have to have that conversation. That's like saying all Christians are evil people, because at the beginning of this country history, a lot of the slave owners were Christians, and they had slaves, and they were whipping them and killing them and raping them. That you could argue that Christians are evil, wicked people because of what they did to the slaves. But nobody says that. Nobody's even having that conversation because everything's kumbaya when it comes to the Christianity religion. But then when it comes to Islam or Hindu or any other religion that white people don't understand or white people don't practice in a mass number, it just becomes evil. That's another conversation. It's frustrating. This high, mighty, superior attitude that most white people have, especially racist white people have. Let's move on. So, so he says. So Jones said that he was code switching. I don't think he was code switching. He was excited. He was happy that he won. It was to the finish line. Even if he sounded a bit cocky, so fucking what? Because at the end of the motherfucking day, he won. And he won with all these people running against him and lying on him. And they're still lying on him, even though he won. Then when Trump talks shit, though, that's what Charlamagne was saying, so I'm going to get to that. When Trump talks shit all day, every day, 24/7. He tweeting shit, he talking shit, he doing shit. But nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody is critiquing him. Nobody is policing Trump. But yet, Van, when he said that, I kind of felt like it was out of pocket too. It was like, and I understand what Van was trying to say, but it wasn't tone deaf. Okay, so he was out of line to say. I mean, I'm not gonna say he was out of line because that was his opinion. So at the end of the day, I have to practice what I preach. I respect his opinion, Van Jones's opinion. That's how he felt. That's how he took it. But I respectfully disagree. Okay. So then Van starts talking about how the lady who won in Virginia, forgot her name, the governor who won in Virginia, how she was calm, cool, and collective, and she was polite. She even shot out the crazy lady that was running against her in Virginia. Now, all skin folk ain't kinfolk for real. I don't even want to get into that because that's another story too. But that lady that was running in Virginia, Sears Wiseman, whatever her last name was a horrible candidate. Horrible candidate. I'm so glad she did not win. And as a black woman, and she was a black woman, she was cuckoo. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Crazy. Just crazy. And saying some crazy stuff, talking about stuff that's not even real. Um, I'm glad she lost. Okay. And shout out to the new governor in Virginia. So the new governor in Virginia, of course, she spoke the way she did because, for one, women, we have a little bit more demure than men. Zohan sounded like he was yelling and talking loud. Yes, you know, but a woman, we're gonna speak a little bit more softer because that's we're supposed to be soft. Okay, so and then also she's a uh that's how politicians are supposed to be. You're supposed to be polite. You're supposed to be calm. That's usually the tradition. Like when you see, Clinton or Obama talking about, Bush or somebody else that they opposed, they didn't badmouth them or talk horrible about a person or attack their character, especially Obama. And so, and even George Bush, George Bush, if he's talking about a Democrat, he's not going to attack their personal trait or their person and talk horribly about a person. Even George Bush didn't do that. The only monster that does that is Donald Trump. He does that. So now that has become like the norm, like everybody expects everybody to talk like that. And then when somebody talks normal and they're respectful and they're applaud or recognize the person on the other side, it's like, oh my goodness, oh my God. We're clutching our pearls. I'm like, oh my God, she was not rude. But she wasn't supposed to be rude. Just because we have this as the new standard now, that's actually not the standard. This is just temporary because as soon as his ass is out of office or he dies or whatever the hell, that shit going, hopefully, God willing, it's going to be in the past and we're not going to be talking about, or people are not going to treat other people the way he treats people. So then, so that was said. Okay, so that was said on CNN by Van Jones when he was giving his commentary about Zohran Mamdani winning New York City mayor. Okay, so then Charlamagne the God on the Breakfast Club gave Van Jones Donkey of the Day. He deserved to get the Donkey of the Day. So I'm gonna read what Charlamagne said. This is from the Root. This is what they wrote. So Charlamagne said, "Man, shut the f up forever, okay? Damn, there was no opportunity missed. The man just won, all right? He just won." Charlamagne said on the radio show. After you won, yes, you're going to celebrate. Yes, you're going to talk loud. And what do you mean he wasn't warm enough? He took a victory lap, and he deserved to take a victory lap because he won. And I agree with Charlamagne 100%. He deserved to take a victory lap. You got the Republican on the Republican side, they take their victory lap and talk mad crazy and talk mad shit, especially Donald Trump, on a daily basis. Like when they asked him today, it was either today or yesterday, that Pelosi is retiring, and they asked him about his opinion, and this man said that she was an evil woman, she was a horrible person. He's glad that she's what? Like, wait a minute, what? Like, he can never say anything nice about no one. He can never say nice. And then even with Dick Cheney passing, and Dick Cheney's a Republican, you know? So it's like he can never say anything nice about no one. He always has to attack someone's character and assassinate their character. And y'all think this man is going to heaven? The way, just don't take my word for it. Go online, research and look up all the stuff that Donald Trump has said this week. Forget last week. Forget last month. Forget last year. Forget all that. Just within the last 24 to 48 hours, all the craziness he has said and done. And I know people will say like, well, it doesn't matter, it's just words. it does matter because he's the president of the fucking United States of America, and you have kids who are looking up to him as an example of how to talk and treat people. You even have adults who are looking up to him of how to treat and to talk to people. So yes, he's supposed to lead by example. He is the leader of the free world. He's supposed to have some kind of respect and decorum and act like he got some goddamn sense. I digress. I digress. I digress. So so then so that's what Charlamagne has said. So Charlamagne gave Van Donkey of the Day, and he does deserve the Donkey of the Day. Now, when it comes to Van Jones and Stephen A. Miller, they don't represent the black community, and they need to stop acting like they represent the black community, and need to stop acting like they talk for all of us, because y'all are not speaking for all of us. And I hate who gave them the title or the I who told them that they spoke for everybody? Like, just say this is my opinion. Allegedly, in my opinion, this is how I feel, and this is what I think, and keep them moving. Because you wasn't speaking for all of us. But so he deserved to get the donkey of the day. So then Charlamagne said, um, given who is in the White House right now, and any politician, analyst for that matter, shouldn't monitor how Mamdani speaks. I just don't understand how in the era. So basically, he said, I just don't understand in the era of Donald Trump, we're still telling people how to talk. He said, the language of politics is dead. Donald Trump killed it. And you know when you can really talk the talk after you win. Huh? And you know when you can really talk the talk after you win. I don't understand that part. But basically, anyway, Charlamagne is just basically saying, in the era of Donald Trump, we're still telling people how to talk. And basically, that's what I just said. That's the rant that I just went on. So, so basically, it's the same thing I just got through saying. We have the leader of the free world talking the way he talk, acting the way he talk. You can't police other people when you're not policing the main guy um in the country. So anyway, so moving along. So then Jones tries to clean up what he said on CNN, and he says, "I think the people have felt." He's talking about the people in the room when Zohran Mamdani was given his speech. He said, "I think the people in the room have felt unheard, unseen, especially some of the younger people." And then he says, basically he was saying that the way he was talking, it kind of fed the people that were there because they have felt unheard and unseen, especially the younger people. First of all, that's who voted for him. Majority of the people who voted for him are younger people, because thank God, and that's the future of the country. And younger people are less likely to be bigoted and racist, like the old white people who are still lingering. So, no offense, in my opinion. So, younger people, especially people who are educated, who have gone to school and been around other people, because education does, I'm not saying education makes you open minded. What I'm saying is, when you're like around other people from different nationalities and different backgrounds, and when you're on campuses, you meet different people. But when you're in your little bubble and all you do is watch Fox News every day, Fox News 24/7 every day, and you're not around other people of different cultures and nationalities, yeah, you're going to be a bigot. But people who are in school, you're forced to interact with people of the world, of all walks of life. So you end up being a little bit more open minded. So so now that he has won, and even though um, some of the Jewish population in New York City did vote for him, The Anti-Defamation League CEO. His name is Jonathan Greenbelt. I think he's been on the Breakfast Club a couple times too. So it says here, so I'm going to read here from NPR News. So we cite our sources. This is from NPR News, and I'm going to read this little part right here. So it says the leader of the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, an organization, I can't even talk, an organization that fights anti-Semitism, is explaining its group's decision to set up a special project to monitor Zohran Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York City. Mamdani is the first Muslim and person of South Asian descent elected to lead the nation's largest city, which includes a Jewish population of well over 1 million people. He is also a critic of Israel and its war in Gaza. After his victory, the ADL took an unprecedented step, announcing an initiative to track and monitor. Already, he just won, so they're already like tracking and monitoring Mamdani's administration policies and appointments. So, it says here that they're setting up where you can call and report any issues of anti-Semitism. Oh my goodness. Okay, at the end of the day, okay, we can say fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, it's like you haven't even gave this man a chance. He has not done anything to show y'all he's anti-Jewish. If he has anything to say about Israel, who doesn't? Like we all do. I mean, I'm not, I don't support the genocide in Palestine, and I mean, I'm not running. I mean, I'm just saying, but it's like, I'm just saying the average person who has a heart, right? If you have a heart, if you're a decent human being, if you believe that that we are all human beings, we are all created in the image of God, and that there's one race, so we shouldn't be, it doesn't matter if the war is Israel against the Palestinian or the Arabs killing the Sudanese in Sudan or Nigerians killing Christians in Nigeria. Like, it doesn't matter who's doing it to who. It only matters if it's happening, or Russia invading Ukraine. You have to be against all those things. For you to sit here and say, you know, I support Israel killing all the Palestinians is crazy. Like you have to be crazy to say something like that. So he hasn't done anything to show these people that he's anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic, and they're over here already. He hasn't even taken office yet. He doesn't take office until January. They already got these hotline numbers and saying they're gonna keep an eye on him. But at the same time, flip the coin. I try to look, to see things on both, from both perspectives. At the same time, I can understand how they may feel like that, and as long as they don't try to do anything, to hurt him and stuff like that. Obviously, hopefully he's not. I don't think he's gonna do anything to hurt the Jewish community. For one, a lot of Jewish people in New York City did vote for him. So if they voted for him, obviously they didn't feel that he was anti-Semite. And then I feel like this is just propaganda. I feel like this is just racism. That's all it is. Hatred. That's all it is. Let the man. So I'm saying all this to say, let the man come in office. Let him show you what he's about, what he's not about. Give him a chance before you go creating hotlines for people to call in and report incidents that haven't even happened yet. Ain't nothing even happened yet. And I mean, I know you have to prepare, but ain't nothing even happened. He ain't hurt nobody. He hasn't done nothing. Give the man a chance, is all I'm saying. And Stop with the hate. Stop with this propaganda. And the Republican Party, um, they have a lot of nerve, a lot of audacity when they have been nothing but, especially since Trump's been in office, they have been nothing but racist and hateful with their policies, when it comes to SNAP, when it comes to ICE and immigration, when it comes to snatching people and kids. They have done so much stuff, but they have the nerve and audacity to try to say Zohran is this evil monster Muslim jihadist that's coming to destroy New York City. And it's like he hasn't shown you that he's about that or he's going to do any of that. But yet we can look at all the resume since January to now, all the shit that the Trump administration has done. We can look and see exactly what y'all have done. But you have the nerve to say this about someone who hasn't even done anything. That's what I'm saying. That's my whole entire point. Give the man a chance. Let him lead the city. And hopefully he is able to keep his promise to the citizens of New York City and make living affordable. Housing does need to be affordable across all 50 states. It's not just New York City. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Food prices, it's everywhere. So good luck, New York. And also wanted to add this to it. This is something that I found from, it's a quote from President Harry Truman. It says, Republican Senator Robert Taft explained that the great issue in this campaign is creeping socialism. Now that is the patented trademark of the special interest lobbyists. Socialism is a scare word that they have hurled at every advance the people have made in the last 20 years. Socialism is what they call public power. Socialism is what they call Social Security. Socialism is what they call farm price supports. Socialism is what they call bank deposit insurance. Socialism is what they call the growth of free and independent labor organizations. Socialism is their name for most anything that helps all people. Harry Truman, Syracuse, New York, October 10th, 1952. So basically, socialism and capitalism, they can go hand in hand, but I just wanted to read that, what Henry Truman has said. So again, congratulations to New York. Hopefully, housing will be made affordable, buses will be made affordable, living will be made affordable, humanity will be respected. Also, I forgot this part too. His parents are successful people. His mom is a film director. She directed Mississippi Masawa with Denzel Washington. His father is a professor. So give him a chance before you guys start to condemn him. Just give him a chance. Again, congratulations, New York. And y'all subscribe to the channel, comment, let me know your opinions and your thoughts. Like the video, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.